Having a course that looks good is cool, but it's not the only reason to apply visual design. Visual design allows you to get the best out of your instructional design by catering for visual learners, controlling attention and focus, conveying emotion, and building trust and recognition through brand. So let's touch on a few visual design elements and principles that you can apply to your course. The first is color, and you can use this to convey emotions. You might want the energy of red and the calmness of blue. A great way to look at color is on a color wheel. The warmer colors are on the opposite side to the cooler colors. Using colors opposite on the color wheel will contrast, which is a great way to create emphasis and focus. Another way to create contrast is using large value shifts from light to dark. You also want to consider using shape and space, particularly negative space, which is a space around a shape. Having this space allows us to focus on the shape. It's one of the reasons why slides with less are best. To make your students feel at ease, you want your visual elements to feel balanced. And a great way to do this is to add symmetry or using the rule of thirds. For example, you might want to be central to the camera or placing elements on the 1/3 intersection. To ensure the visual design elements combine well, you need unity. You'll want each module and the course as a whole to feel like one harmonious piece, and to help do this, you should lock in your look. So you'll want to pick a limited color palette to use. I usually use white and a really dark gray, and maybe at most 2 similar colors and 1 contrasting color. Luckily, there's a few websites that you can use to help you create a color palette. Make sure you make note of the hex codes that represent your chosen colors. And also, when choosing a palette, consider the colors that are colorblind friendly to be more inclusive. You'll also want to lock in your typography. The most important part of text is to ensure that it's easy to read. The less curly sans serif fonts are the easiest to read, so lock one of those in as your main text and use bold for emphasis. You can then choose a font that's a little more dynamic for your headings. As far as the specific font size goes, there's no hard and fast rule. Besides being big enough to read, you should choose one that best suits your content. Also note that text will form a shape, so it's important to consider the negative space by breaking text up, and this can be done, for example, with paragraphs and dot points. Creating a template is a great way to lock in your look. This will ensure that not only your colors and fonts are consistent, but the placement of visual elements will be too. And as an added bonus, locking your look will limit your choices, which will save you on development time. Now, one final note, do not go overboard with visual design. You do not use visual design to steal the show, but rather make your content the star.